Some of you who have always spoken to me or hear me out, you will know that one of my favorite sentences is, look at your P&L statements. What is the highest in your expenses? Manpower costs and real estate costs. So today I'll be sharing about commercial property updates, specially made for you, the businesses, because I do care for you. Your manpower costs is not got to do with me, but your real estate costs and how you look at real estate as a whole that will bring down the expenses and therefore up your profits. So let's begin. Hi, I'm Edith from Property Bank. So today let's dabble in commercial property updates. And the first thing that comes to your mind whenever you read a commercial property update report, you'll be interested to find out what have the sales taken place. Even though you're a company, you read the news and you just wonder, what exactly happened in the marketplace. So now I'll begin to share with you notable sale transactions comprising of both commercial offices, shop houses, as well as retail. So what are the transactions that's really big value in the marketplace? So income at Raffles, which I think some of you will know in its former days, this building standing right on top of Raffles MRT that used to be owned basically by Income to McCarters, being sold in 2022 just this year and makes it a big transaction at 3,300 per square foot. That's one institutional buyer that is from overseas. And Suntec City, you will hear so many news because it's like record-breaking prices at level 44 that's been sold at $3,850 per square foot. Wow, that's very high, and in fact, this changed a lot of perception from the owners there right now that, hey, my value of the property should gain much higher. But is it the truth? Well, when we actually check all the transactions caveated in the marketplace, it hovers at a median range of about $3,000. That's because that transaction that is record-breaking is on a very high floor. So just like you guys, you watch, HDB transactions and you hear like million-dollar transactions. But for Suntec, it's also quite the same because today Suntec is actually with a shorter tenure. However, there's no product as vibrant in the sense that with the shopping mall and with the offices all into one and with the recent upgrading, it is definitely of value if you want to buy an office in that location with the fabulous view, the amenities. So this is something that you have to take note, from the buyer side, you won't be squeezed to pay that high. But on the seller side, there is that record-breaking transaction, but it may not be yours. So then, of course, we also understand that basically freehold properties, 999 properties, those with longer tenure, they behave in a very different pattern. So one such example is Samsung Hub, which is 999 leasehold tenure in the whole of CBD. If today you are someone who wants to own an office and perhaps as a legacy that you don't want to be hurrying to sell it away as the lease cut shorter, Samsung Hub was transacted at 4,050 per square foot. So if you vis-a-vis compare with Suntec City, then you have to make your own choice whether you get something that's almost freehold 999 versus Suntec, which is value for money as well. So the choice is yours. But the number of almost freehold or 999 property office building in CBD is actually running very low stock. And do hear me out later in the pipeline where I will introduce you some excitement to look forward to. Besides the usual, by floors and all that, we also see portfolio purchase. So there is one such purchase which is for Mall Street, Pagoda Street, Craig Road, at 110 million. So that one is somebody who actually owns a portfolio and then decided to sell as a portfolio. So it's like family offices and also institutional buyer who kind of say, hey, I want to collect a few properties. then that's the kind of opportunities that is to be discussed with you. And of course, outside the CBD, there's Fringe in Zhuqiat. Zhuqiat is also definitely up and coming. Lianbing has sold Lagoon Sari building located at Zhuqiat at 42 million. Companies are also looking at their assets to refresh their assets. And never before in year 2022, we see such situations where there are willing sellers in the market to refresh their portfolio of assets. Coming to retail, there's also Stars of Kovan. We know that the retail properties were actually completed, tenanted, and it was really a good time that in 2022, these properties were sold to Link Realty. They also bought as a portfolio to manage it better. Yeah, so these are updates of commercial property for the sales section. Then now let's jump in something closer to you as well. As a business looking at what's been transacted in the market, notable lease transactions. 3 that I would like to single out. You read news and you notice that, hey, this company basically announced their move. But what is the story behind? What is the impact behind for you? So one such company which the minister opens for its official opening is KPMG. I like this company because it's kind of like with a lot of depth of knowledge. They have been a stable tenant for decades. In a building at Raffles Place. Today, we found them moving 125,000 square feet at Asia Square Tower 2. What motivates the move? Okay, it's basically to resize itself from 10 floors in an older building to basically Asia Square Tower 2. And still you will say, hey, look, it will cost them more per square foot. Yes, indeed. But if you look at the total sum that they are spending, this office itself will be their center of excellence. And they are looking forward in years to come. So they are kind of like future-proofing their office. And one of the elements that they bring in is decarbonization topics. So I can't wait. If you are KPMG, I love to visit your office, okay? So that's one example of how company that hasn't been shifting has then made a decision to do the change this year. So are you ready for the change? If you have been in your building for decades, it's time to rationalize how you should look forward to future-proof your space. And that will bring you definitely new businesses. Okay, the next one that I would like to share with you, of course, is also in the news. Amazon, 369,000 square feet. Wow, that's a lot. They have inked the contract for IOI Central Boulevard. It's a new building that's slated for completion next year, 2023. Of course, this deal means that it takes years, having very deep discussion with the landlord. And IOI Central Boulevard definitely has got its charm with such an anchor tenant. The way I look at it is that if you have that much of space that you're renting, definitely your decision is more complex and it takes more time. You have to do all the necessary test fit. So in fact, right now, looking at 2022 coming to an end, and then 2023 is 1 month down the road. You will be thinking that, hey, how do I then plan for my really, really big offices? In fact, have to look at future stocks, future building under construction to start a meaningful conversation with the landlord. I'd like to also share another case here, which is Grab. HQ is at One North right now. But do you know that years ago, they actually inked this contract, which is a build-to-lease contract. So they will be moving out and in fact already started shifting majority of them into One North from Marina One. So this is a classic example of a tech company with cost savings in mind, and they are still continuing to recruit. So one of the costs, like what I mentioned, if you are increasing your expense to hunt for talent, the next cost that you really have to cut is your office. So your office from a CBD office to a decentralized location, I think this makes all the best sense in terms of dollar value for Grab. I really like the one campus that houses everybody instead of taking stacks of floors in prime CBD. So this is one strategy that as you grow big, you probably can look forward for a campus-like or single building to house your needs. What's for you, your finance managers and your HR managers? So what I have just mentioned to you is what has been happening. And for you, you are most concerned about what's in the pipeline. So remember I mentioned about IOI Central Boulevard. So that's actually a very huge building. So we are talking about building with about 1.29 million square feet. So slated to complete or expected TOP to be September 2023. I like to take this as the top of the line because that's where you can see the kind of features, the amenities within the building. The location itself, you can't dispute about it. It's still in CBD of Shenton Way and with the new Shenton MRT that's up. So that's top of the line. And you have Guaco Midtown, which is at Beach Road. So it's completing anytime. Should be December, then basically it will be TOP. So that offers you an option which is outside Raffles Place, City Hall, but yet very well connected to the city. And next up, Hub Synergy Point, which is located at Anson, 117,500 square feet. So it's already completed, and in fact you can feel the physical space. You need a footprint that's well-sized per floor. This is one good opportunity. You can lease a single floor for your entire team. Now, you know that from Meta to Twitter, you hear about the job cuts. So for you as a finance or HR manager, two lessons to learn from. One is don't be overly aggressive on your real estate spending. Keep the people. But on the other hand, for me, somebody from the real estate angle, I'll look at it that there are opportunities to help some of my clients because there will be shadow spaces that you have to be connecting to the right people to know what are these shadow spaces, meaning these are leases already signed, contracted, and the tenants cannot, so-called anyhow get out of the lease because for contracts, they are actually a fixed sum contract. Landlord has no issue for you to find a replacement tenant, but however, you can't just simply surrender your lease and walk away scot-free. So if you are in either situation looking for the spaces, then I would say you have much opportunities. However, if you are someone because of the change of work style, hybrid working, and people are not totally returning because you still have this work from home flexibility, isn't it time for you to start thinking and don't end up like some of these tech companies? Because it's a double whammy when the industry or the market is down and you have so much space that you probably have boasted, before that this is such a cool office. So now it is about being optimally spending, and we are the guys to help you look at your real estate because of the changes of the workplace strategy. Yeah. So next, supply itself, if you look at it, it's still tight. However, as a business, you have all the opportunity, like what I just mentioned in the initial. If you're looking not to pay your landlord, but to service your own installment. Yes, interest rates are climbing. You will feel that, hey, this is something that you should have bought property years ago. Then don't wait, because there is one property that will be launching, which is right at Robinson Road itself, Cecil Street, and it is freehold. And one floor is 13,000 square feet. And I think that works very well for some of you who are looking for freehold assets. in CBD. I would also like to share a little about what has happened for the retail that has already happened. So we know that Kasari has already set up in Liet Towers as a retail space. And then of course, Toys R Us. Who says toys are out? 7,800 square feet at GEM. I like to also wrap up by saying that if you are three categories that I would like to mention to you, the financial institution and family offices, there are spots of opportunities. So you hear me out that you can buy a freehold asset, and you also hear me out that there are actually companies that's giving up some shadow spaces. These are prime office space. Have a conversation with us. And if you guys, majority of those who like to watch our YouTube, you are the tech and media companies. So cost savings definitely is on the top of your mind. And never before is the right time to rationalize, because you know how many people are returning back to office. Is already stabilized. You know what kind of strategies you should be adopting. For you, if you already grown so fast that you start to build your product line, and that is the time that you may adopt a strategy like Grab. Go to a decentralized location, and where you can, you have all your people and your product line in one stop and one roof. And of course, as I would say that the elements for rental is very simple. It's the size, it's how much you pay per square foot that gives you the total sum. So learn from KPMG, which I just mentioned. Look to refresh your property. You may even upgrade to a better property, but sizing down the underutilized high cubes and all that, which you have spent many years already. So freshen up. 2023 awaits you, and of course we are more than happy to have a chat. So if you like what we have shared, give us a thumbs up, and then of course click in the link below to have a conversation with us, and definitely subscribe to our channel so that we can produce more useful contents for you, the businesses, finance and HR managers. Until then, I'm Edith. We hold a bank of properties, and you can bank on us for properties.